And good afternoon, or good morning, I should say, and welcome to Gulfstream Park, and welcome to Gulfstream today. It is 11:30 a.m. I'm joined by Mike Welch of the Daily Race for my old buddy Mike. Great to have you up here.
Been a long time, but tough shoes to fill.
Yeah.
I mean, not only has Gabby done a terrific job up here, but she's a lot prettier than I am, too. So either way,
Well,
I don't think I can win.
You're looking pretty sharp with that tie on today, actually. Mike, of course, if you don't know, we've been with the Daily Racing Form like me here since the beginning of time, it seems like. And you got that great clock report. It's available for Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, no, they seem to be pretty popular. We got a good staff working, and hope people at least take a shot and look at it. You can buy it for one day and take a peek. Just go to drf.com. But I think the information's pretty good, and you can always use a little help around here, whether it's a clock report or listening to Ronnie and Gabby.
Yeah, without a doubt. We got nice wages for you today. We got the special pre-holiday card this afternoon. Of course, now at Gulfstream Park in the winter at the championship meet, we started off with the early pick five. And, we've got the early rolling super high five. I forgot we got a carryover in this of over $3,233. This has been fun to watch. Once it gets up there, boom, they hit it. They go after it.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea, the high five, but there's one or two guys out there that, like you say, when the pool gets up there, it really gets up there, and it gets up there in a hurry. So kudos to them if they can solve that riddle. I have enough trouble picking the top two.
Yeah, I'm tough with that too. We got an early pick 5-2 this afternoon, and that starts in the first 5 races. The cards, a 50-cent wager, and then the always popular Rainbow 6, which starts in race number 5. And you see no carryover. They hit it again on Sunday.
Twice in 3 days.
Twice in 3 days. It's amazing how they hit that thing. It's another thing I can't quite figure out. I always get 5 out of 6. I got that nailed. It's the 6th one I can't do. And of course, we end every racing day, the last 5 races, the card with a late pick 5, also 50 cents, very popular wager, and they pay pretty nice. And the beauty of that is that it's only a 50-cent wager.
And if you played the Rainbow 6 and you got knocked out in the first leg, boom, you come right back with the same 5 in the pick 5.
Well, before we delve in, we're going to show you my early pick 5 card today, my ticket today, and it'll pop up in just a second, and you'll see what I have here. You see I'm going with $40.50. Went 3 deep, and you see that 4th race, I singled Robe today from the Bill Mott barn. I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but I had to keep my ticket where I could afford it, $40.50, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good range to be in. I mean, you only have to hit a couple of them throughout the meet at $40 a piece to break even or make a few bucks. So.
Well, let's get to the first race. It's 1 mile on the turf. These are claimers 3 and up. Non-winners are 3 in life for 3-year-olds. $30,000 down to $25,000. Clean slate, no scratches, jockey changes, and Mike and I both ended up on the number 4, Prince Vincenzo.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's a wide open race. Look, I'm going to say that 100 times if I do 100 turf races here this meet. They all seem to be pretty wide open. But what I like about Prince Vincenzo is this horse is getting a class relief, and I always like that. You go back to that race at Delaware 2 starts back, and that was a pretty solid field this horse beat that day. I mean, every horse going into the race was running bys in the 70s and 80s, and every horse coming out of the race ran bys in the 70s and 80s. He was overmatched last time. The only thing that worries me, there's not a lot of pace in the race, so hopefully he'll get a good position close up early and be able to assert what I think is a little bit of a class edge over here. Ginger Goose, this horse ran great last time, got beat by Fear the Falcon, chased the horse all the way. Fear the Falcon ran a career-best 83 buyer that day, and it was a second straight win, so we caught a horse that was doing well. And maybe today there isn't a Fear the Falcon in here if Prince Vincenzo doesn't run his race, and then maybe he'll be the one that'll try to cut out the pace.
Yeah, and Prince Vincenzo comes out of the showing up, and in that race came out the Tropical Park Derby when it was in their solemn tribute. The horse I put in second was a bomb, and this one, I want to go back and show you a stat. It's an interesting stat. Actually, guys were making fun of me today, but it's a good stat that they don't really say.
Make fun of you every day anyway.
22 for 133, 17% after a horse runs a poor race. So they're saying he ran, that's lifetime. Doesn't mean a poor race where the horse ran up the track means the horse bounced back. I'm talking about Mike Maker.
Well, Mike Maker, needless to say, he's going to have a high percentage in about every category because he has a high percentage all around. A Plum, one first 2 starts out, hasn't been the same since, getting ready to see if he can swing back into his good form. According to our workout report, though, he has been working well up at Palmettos.
And what about Easement? You used it in there?
Well, I think Easement is going to be better back on the grass. He wanted no part of the dirt last time, was down on the inside, had a terrible trip. You can just throw an X through that race. I mean, turf is what he wants.
Well, let's go to race number 2. 6 furlong claimers, 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life or 3-year-olds, $6,250. One scratch in here of the number 7 horse, Levkos Pirgos. So we have 7 runners in the field. So the rolling super high fives will be able to continue. You need 7 or more runners, so that's the case. Once again, what do we got a stamp in this one, Mike? With the top horses, number 4, Right On Ready.
Hard to go against him. I mean, this horse has won 4 races and this is a never won 3 condition. The 3-year-old can keep running back in it, and kudos to his connections for putting him right back for what they claimed him for in a winning spot. I think they'll get quick dividends if he just runs back to his last race. The only question mark is Party Crasher. This horse has taken a big drop off a long layoff. He only shows 1 work since his last start eons ago, and that was a 36 and change 3/8 of a mile in which he was sent every step of the way. So I'm a little reluctant to think this horse is going to come back running. So and that's the case. Right On Ready should win again.
Yeah, you know, in the Party Crash, you talk about it, he's got a bullet in 36 and 2, but it was just against a couple of horses there. I don't know if that signals that he's got something left in the tank. I also used that horse on my ticket, and long, I used the one in Mutaka in second.
I like Mutaka because outran his odds last time, and I think it was 100 and something to 1. Finished second despite a wide trip, and smaller field today. We won't have to go as wide, and the horse looks like he's maybe cycling into his best form.
Well, let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. 1 mile maiden special weight fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. We have 7 runners in this field, and Mike, you went with the number 5 horse, Amy's Image, right on top.
Well, I did it for several reasons. 1, it's Todd Pletcher, so you can't go wrong there. 2, the horse is putting blinkers on today, and this horse's last work was an improvement with blinkers on. He worked against not a cat, but a llama, who's a classier horse than what he's facing today. He held his own with him in that work. There's not a lot of speed in the race. I'm hoping with the blinkers on, this is going to put a little more speed into him. Might even try to go to the lead. And the 2 key contenders that he's got to beat, Spinning Wheel and Now Power, are both coming off long layoffs. So, they may need a race. This horse has been running, a lot to like about Amy's Image. So that's the reason I went there. Like I said, Spinning Wheel, if he runs back to his earlier races, he'll win. But, he hasn't run in a while. And Now Power, I think he was against the bias in his first 2 starts against better than these. But, again, he seems to be working okay. But you just never know if they're going to need a race or not. Mile's a tricky distance, 1-turn mile, coming off layoffs.
Well, let's show you a stat on Amy's Image for Todd Pletcher, which is, again, there's always going to be good stats, but I thought this was interesting. 22 for 98, 22% with 3rd start back from a layoff, and that's what the horse has done. And you make a good point, Mike, because these other horses coming off vacations, this has been running regular.
Yeah, I should have looked what his stat was first time blinkers. I'm sure it's 20% to 25%, just because anything he runs is 20% to 25% or higher. But blinkers on today, if it puts a little extra speed in him, that could make a big difference the way this race seems to shape up.
Well, I actually went with Spinning Wheel. It's a half-sister to Grade 1 Preakness Stakes runner-up ride on Curlin, shortening up to this 1-turn mile, as Mike mentioned. In-between distance, first starts and setting the pace, yielding at the quarter pole to finish 3rd. It was a maiden special weight race. It was at Churchill, but it was back on May 23rd. So you make a good point. These horses coming off the layer, similar with the number 1, Now Power. Let's go to race number 4, and we'll go back to the turf this afternoon. 1 mile and 1/16. Fillies and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life. $50,000. Full field of 10 runners. Another head scratching here. I'm going to start it off because I went with the, did I skip a race? No, I did not skip a race. Right there. I went with Robin here. I didn't see my selection up there. Who broke her maiden for $75,000. Will face $50,000 2 lifetime claimers after stalking in the 4-path and finishing 5th against first level allowance competition going a mile. It was on a soft turf course at Churchill Downs. You remember Churchill in the fall. Tons of rain there. Bill Mott, Jose Lezcano, love the way Jose Lezcano rides on the turf course here. The reason I started off first in here is because this is my single in that early pick 5 ticket, so I wanted to tell you why I singled that horse.
Well, look, if Robe runs back to that race in Saratoga, the maiden breaker, he's going to win, period. She's going to win. But her last race, maybe it was the soft turf. Wasn't that great a field. I think the buyer number was just average, finished in the middle of the pack. So she's a bit of a question mark to me. Again, if she runs back to that maiden race, she's going to win. I took a shot on here with Mare on Fire. This horse is stretching back out again after a couple of 5/8 mile races, dropping back to the 50,000, never won 2 level, where she ran second here in March to a horse called Ramble, who's just an okay horse. I think she's still knocking around the never win 3s, or maybe she won a never win 3. But the main thing I like about her is watching her train in the morning. She looks terrific out here. She's been galloping out very strong after all her recent work. So she's fit. I think the mile and the 16th she'll handle. And I think she'll be a little priced because Robe's going to be the favorite. And also under the number 2 horse, under the rein, this horse, there's not a lot of speed in here. I think this horse is loose on the lead. So, that could be a factor, too, at a price. Any horse that can get loose on the lead that looks like fits in the category, I got to respect if the price is right, and I think the price will be right. So I went 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2 in here, but Mare on Fire is my top choice.
Yeah, Mare on Fire, and Mike is out here each and every morning watching these horses work, so it's a good angle in here. We had a couple of turf races on Sunday where the horses that got to the lead won. So that wasn't like it was impossible over at Gulfstream Park West. So I don't know if the race just set up from the perfect. I didn't see any kind of bias or anything.
I'm not so sure. The course is firming up now after getting all that rain earlier in the meet. Now we have a lot of wind out there today. We have a big south wind, which means it's a tailwind down the backstretch, a headwind in the stretch. Not sure how that's going to affect the races on either course.
Right.
We know speed was pretty potent last week on the main track, but that was 72 hours ago. Could have a different track today. The wind could be at effect, so I'd watch those races carefully to see if we have any kind of a bias on either course. If there is, though, more likely to be on the main track than the turf, just the way both courses seem to be playing.
Well, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll show you my Rainbow Six ticket for this afternoon. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti, joined by Mike Welch of the Daily Racing Form. And so far, I'll give you the first 4 races on the card. And I'm going to go right into the 5th. This is where the Rainbow Six starts. It's a 6 furlong claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $6,250. One scratch in here of the inside horse, and that's BT's Baby. And before we get Mike's analysis of this race, let's show you my Rainbow Six ticket today. Usually my co-host Gabby handles this, but I had to jump in today. I got a $57.60 ticket. I am the master of getting 5 out of 6. Today I got a good feeling maybe I'll get the 6 out of 6. I used 2 horses in here. Wanted to go deeper. I used Yasta and Bear's Reflection, and that's how my ticket was. How did you start this race, Mike?
I started it with a horse you didn't use, and there's probably going to be a third pick, and that's May's Treasure Trove.
Right.
Just because I think this horse could be loose on the lead. Now, there's some question marks over my top 2 picks in here. May's Treasure Trove is 0 for 12 going 6 furlongs. So I'm kind of hoping if she can get loose and relax and the track is still favoring speed, that might carry her that extra 16th of a mile she's going to need. Her last work on the main track here was very sharp. She showed big speed in that morning, 47 and change, and did it pretty easily. So, again, I'm just hoping she can get loose on the lead and get brave on the front end. Bear's Reflection, I thought that last race at Woodbine is the best number of all these horses in here, but that was on the artificial surface. This is this horse's first race on dirt. We've seen a lot of these horses come down and win here thus far. I know you and Gabby have mentioned that. A surprising amount of the Woodbine artificial horses coming and really handling the main track here well. And I think if she does, she's going to be right there too. Now, Esther, you can't throw her out. She cruised over the same caliber, the wide open 62.50 last time. She did get a perfect trip. She drew off the win by 4, doing it kind of easy, even though she finished on her left lead. I don't think she's going to be able to have that luxury today because I think the competition, Bear's Reflection and May's Treasure Trove, are tougher than what she beat last time. But you got to respect the fact that she won so easily in the same category.
Yeah, and she's a 5-time winner here. You know, she's had 14 races on this course. We're talking about Yasta. 14 races, I mentioned, 5 wins in there. Bear's Reflection, this is his first ever race on a traditional dirt surface, but Mike makes a great point. Gabby and I have been watching this over the last couple of days. Usually it's a throwout. This year it's been not a throwout, so we used that one on my ticket. And also have some interest a little bit in Candy's Lady that I might add in the bottom of my ticket. Renews the rivalry with Yasta after vying for the lead and finishing second to her last time out. Marcus Vitale, he's pretty good. He's 5 for 35 with the third start back from a layoff. So one of those stats there. Maybe this horse can suck up and grab part of the exacta trifecta. Let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. And this one is 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Maiden claim is 3-year-olds and up, $16,000. Scratch the main track only. Number 11, Pasta Giovanni. And we have the late pick 5 starting here. And being I'm doing all the duty this afternoon later on today with Gabby away for the day, there is my late pick 5 ticket. 2 deep in here, 4 and 5. I got a $72 ticket. That's big for me. I never used to go that deep, but I could not find a single.
No, I mean, it's not an easy card the rest of the way, that's for sure. I mean, I didn't really look now to see if I might have had a single in there, but I probably would agree with you. It's 2 or 3 deep at least in all of the races the rest of the way. I mean, the 2 morning line favorites in the air are Crowd Island, Major Anthem. They're 0 for 33 between them lifetime. They're 0 for 27 on the grass between them. So even though they probably have the best numbers, and I'm sure both could win, I had to go against them. And I agreed with you in here with Battleback John. Kind of a stranger to the category, getting some class relief. The last race this horse ran was at Churchill on the main track, which wasn't horrible. The 4th place finisher in that race that day, Tailstone, came back to run here against bottom maidens on the dirt, was 1 to 5 and won like a 1 to 5 shot. It was for Mike Maker. So, you know, the race probably wasn't as bad as maybe this race is. Battleback John has run okay on the turf, and he has run well at 1 mile and 8 on the dirt, so the distance shouldn't be a problem. So everything being equal, that's who I settled on.
Well, let me show you. I want to go back. You mentioned Major Anthem, who's 0 for 16. I want to go back and show you this horse's last performance, just the stretch roll of it. I thought it was a pretty good performance. As you see, the 8 horse in this day really comes running late in here, notching that. Almost got the elusive maiden victory. I just want to go back and show you. I thought it was a thing. Got the, had to go wide, had to go between horses. I just thought it was a pretty good performance off this. Maybe this one is finally sitting on that win. But with that said, Mike, you're really not getting. There you see the 8 closing and closing. You really don't get. You're not going to get a price, and it's 0 for 16.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why these horses are 0 for 16. You know, some of them just don't want to win. I mean, he ran well here. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, from the looks of this, he may never have gotten by the 6th horse. But he won another 16th of a mile. But it remains to be seen. The big question mark here is Panama Will. Second off a long layoff. First time on the grass. Should handle the grass by Scat Daddy. But, you know, it looks like they've given up on this horse, dropping him down for 10 last time out off that layoff. So probably has some serious issues. But you never know. You know, the Scat Daddies, he gets on the grass, he may just rejuvenate him. So I think you have to respect him anyway.
And just like all these turf races here, they're really hard to do. I went with 2 horses on my late pick 5 ticket. If you have the chance, please use more horses if you think you should.
You can afford it.
And yeah, if you can afford it, that's the problem there. Let's go to race number 7, 6.5 furlongs, maiden special weight filly, 2-year-olds. Pretty nice race. 11 runners in the field. Just one note here: the number 5 is going to race without Lasix this afternoon. And you know, of course, you got 2 horses here from Todd Fletcher, the 10 and the 11. I don't know how to separate these. Did you watch these horses work? Maybe that's the way to do it.
I have my guy up at Palm Beach Downs. I haven't watched him, but I did get to see, he did tape the gate work on December 7th. The 2 of these horses worked together out of the gate. That's Outzap and Silktail. And in that work, at least that gate work, Outzap was clearly the best of the 2. He was about a length and a half in front all the way, and then pulled away from him on the gallop out. So of the pair, just watching that, Outzap, I think, is best. Also, if you got the clock report, you will learn that Outzap's last work came against Mo Power, who was, I think, 7 to 5 or 8 to 5 first time out in the maiden special weight here on Saturday. A horse at that barn is really, really high, and he just got beat. Ralph Nix beat him in neck, but Ralph Nix has been beating everybody around here lately. So I think of the Pletcher pair, Outzap looks like the best 2, everything being equal, assuming they break and get some kind of a trip. Now, whether they're better than the rest of them, I'm not sure. Who else would you use? Well, Upholder is an interesting horse for Kelly Breen. Kelly thought enough of this horse to work him against Stone-tastic, who's running 2 Breeders' Cups in his last work, going 6 furlongs up there in 14 now. She broke off behind in front and finished behind Stone-tastic. So clearly, she wasn't going to beat Stone-tastic. But she seemed to do enough in that work. Well, I think you got to respect her first time out in here. And another first timer I liked in here was Majestic Mafera. Just from what I've seen of her in the morning, she has some talent, she has some speed, and she'll be a price.
Well, I split the two Pletcher horses with number 2 Whistling Straits, the only horse in the field with previous experience, albeit was second place finish going 4.5 furlongs at Parks in May. Has trained consistently up at Palmettos in preparation for the return. I didn't see it. Yeah, I don't know if your partner did up there, but here's a stat I want to show you about John Service in here. He's 5 for 22. That's 23% with horses making their second start. So there's reason to believe this is the only horse in the whole race with previous experience, but I really couldn't separate the two Pletchers.
Yeah, you know, early in the year when they run, she went 4.5 furlongs. She showed speed. So going 6.5, you know she's going to have speed down on the inside. It's just hard to tell what kind of competition she was in against. Sometimes early in the year like that, you're meeting horses that are all going to wind up running for 62.50 and making 12.5. So very tough race here. Picking Pletchers on top, you know, no big deal. You know they're both going to get bet. Again, like I said, of the two, Outsat might be the better of the two, which would be interesting to see which one goes post with the shorter price of the two.
Well, after you're telling everybody up here, I think it's going to be the 10 horse, don't you think? 8th race today, 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. It's a starter, optional claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $50,000. Scratch the 12 and number 13 horse in here. And Mike, you went with the horse I have in second right on top of your ticket, and that's number 5. And that is Little Bit Lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ralph Nix, like I just said. He's doing terrific right now. This horse was overmatched last time. Chased Quiet Kitten, who and then got tired. The Quiet Kitten came back off that race and won a stake next time out. There's no stakes winners in here. And Little Bit Lovely's come back and worked really well. She worked a nice half mile on the main track. So that's why I'm taking her. But I'm doing it with a bit of a caveat because I don't like the race flow for her in here. She's a horse that likes to be on the lead or right with the pace. And there's several of those in this lineup as well. So, you know, she's going to be a short price. I think she's the best horse in here if she trips out. I also like Kazuna. This horse is coming off a nice win against Lesser at the Gulfstream Park West, but she seems to like this course best of all. And her last 2 works, according to my colleague Mike Vesey at Palmettos, have both been very good. One on the dirt, one on the turf. She's going to have to work out a trip from the outside post, but she's got a little lick herself, so I think she'll get right out there and be close up herself.
And ridden today by Tyler Gaffione, has just been riding in great form. He's got a couple of really nice wins over the last couple of days.
Interesting to see that Tyler is riding Ralph Nix's main competition in here, because we usually see Ralph and Tyler together.
Well, he was aboard for the last victory, so I guess he stood there. The horse I did use on top was the 2 besides Stillwater's debuting locally for trainer Mike Maker after drawing off as part of an even money entry to wallop a field of $40,000 claimers. That was going a mile. It was on that good turf course at Churchill Downs. Corey Lannery in the saddle.
Corey's had a good meet so far. And this horse also has some decent workout reports from Palmettos coming into the race.
And the other horse I used on the bottom is the 10 Tybalt's Queen. I want to mention one because he's facing winners today after responding to both the drop of competition and some added distance. With a $40,000 maiden score going a mile and a 16th. It was up at Aquid on the turf. It's Todd Pletcher. He's got 2 horses in this race. He's also got the 4 horse in here, Smoke and Thorough. Luis Saez at top. This part of the uncoupled entry. And boy, Luis Saez having a good meet. And you got 2 Todds in here. And I think you got to go deep in this race.
Oh, it's a tough race. Oxidata is working really well for Peter Wilder, but this horse looks like speed with all the other speed. If there's a lot of speed in here, I'd throw a Fleet Mary on the ticket somewhere. Maybe she's not going to get up, but I think she's going to get into the top 3 somehow. This horse is facing much, much better. She's going to appreciate the class relief and appreciate the pace.
Yeah, we got this rolling super high fives throughout the afternoon. So one of those horses you might want to add on your ticket. Let's go to race number 9 today. 1 mile allowance. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Purse is $41,000. 1 jockey change on number 7. Make the runner MSCL Hadamio. And Mike, we both have the number 1. That is Tiger Moth on top of our ticket.
Yeah, this horse is going to be a short price, and rightly so. Last 2 races chased home Gambler's Rose and Carumba. Gambler's Rose ran a 78 buyer last time. I don't think there's anything in here that can run a 78 other than Tiger Moth. And Carumba, I think, was second in a grade 2 stake in her last start and ran a 90-something buyer, I think, last time she went on the grass. So to me, Tiger Moth just stands out in here. And I thought her stablemate, Paris Bikini, might be the only one that could beat her, but if I had to make a single in this pick six, it would be Tiger Mom.
Well, let's go back and show you the performance of that number 4 horse, Paris Bikini, last time out. This horse was flying great. It's owned by a famous chef here, Bobby Flay. But this I thought was a pretty good performance. I read your analysis this morning, and you actually said in your analysis, which is in the daily race form every day, that this is the only horse that might be able to beat its stablemate. You'll see this horse closing pretty nicely in there. Was the 10 horse on the outside. She comes flying down, late and just misses. Everybody hits the wire together. It's right there between horses. Boy, was that close.
And the third place finish in here was Momsy Left. Momsy Left bounced back off of this race to win an allowance race with an 81 buyer in her next start.
Well, we're in total agreement in this race, which doesn't
that's
happen.
bad then.
That's bad then with the
Todd
three
and his-
Garden Princes in third. Ralph Nix, we mentioned how great he's been doing this year. Let's go to our final race on the card, the 10th race. It is on the turf at 7.5 furlongs, These are maiden special weight 3-year-olds and upward. Scratch the 13 down to the 16. Jockey on the 10 is Mario Fernandez. Oh, also scratch the number 4 horse in here, High Prince Happy. High Prince Happy. That's a pretty silly name for a horse, but you know what? It's pretty good. It's scratched today. So, who'd you put on top? Let's see. You went with the number 1, and that is GPS.
Yeah, I just took a shot for a price. I figure, I'm doing this show once all year. I want to go out with a bang and want people to remember if I can get GPS home on top. But no, there are other reasons in here, too. This horse has speed. I like the way she looked blowing out the other morning. But what I like the most about her is she looks like a horse that has the action of a horse that wants to run on the grass. And she's got some turf breeding. The mare was a stakes winner, and she won on turf. And she's going to be in front from the rail. Whether she'll carry it all the way, hopefully no one will run with her. There is some other speed in here, but she's going to be a price. She seems to be doing well. She looks like she wants the grass, so I took a shot. I think Tracking Stock is the one to beat for sure. Was second last out, the Flash Cat, who came back off of that race and won again on the dirt. So I think the race is right there. Lottery Ticket is a question mark, coming off the layoff. Has had 2 3/8 works. The rest of her preparation was done on the farm, and she's got a tough post. I mean, she ran against better when she was with Bill Mott earlier in the year in New York. She's definitely going to be a factor, but she has to overcome the layoff and the tough post. So I'm going inside with the 1 and the 2.
Well, I beg to differ in this race. I have the number 5, Cliffs of Dover, on top of my ticket. I want to go back and show you this horse's performance. I'm back at Aqueduct on November 26th. You watch this horse turn for home. Never really got a chance to run in this race. You'll watch it as it starts. He just stuck down on the inside. Was the number 10 horse. You see, it has to steady a little bit. You'll see it turn it for home. Down on the inside, the number 10, and it just never really gets there. It has to steady again a little bit in there on the inside there. Just never really gets a chance to really run. Trying to go through here, never gets that space. So I threw the horse on the ticket there. You see it on the sitting 4th right now, coming on. Just didn't have that room to run. Now gets up, finds a little space, and gets up for 3rd.
And if memory serves me correct, this horse has been working well, according to our report, up at Palmettos too, so might be coming into the race sitting on a bigger effort and improved effort.
Yeah, and trained by Tom Bush and ridden by Jose Lezcano, and I've been singing his praises for a while. And this is a New York bred, but it's a son of English Channel, so really bred for nights for the grass. I don't know what it is on the morning line, 6-1, and that was my way to end the day. Maybe get some Christmas money.
And people might say, well, if it's a New York bred, why is it running down here? Well, there's no turf racing in New York anymore, so if you have a grass horse that's a New York bred, you're going to be down here for the winter.
Well, you mentioned Tracking Stock is absolutely the one to beat in here, but I also used the number 8 Path Dependent, stretching out to 7.5 furlongs after hitting the board in one of 2 turf sprints at Saratoga. You spent the whole summer there, but I wanted to just show you a quick stat between Mark Hennick and Paco Lopez, which you don't really think this would be that stat. Small sampling, 3 for 8, 38%, with horses running on the turf when they team up together. That's pretty good.
Come up with these stats. I got formulated for the form. I can't find this stuff.
Well, you got to dig down deep. You'll find them. 3 for 8, 38% this year with turf races, running in turf races. So I just thought that was something I would throw out there. So that is how Mike and I see the Wednesday card. Once again, Mike, tell them how they can get the clocking report, clockers report, I should say.
You can go to drf.com, and it's right there. There's a link to it on our site, or you can just go to drf.com/clocker. Just Google that, and it'll come up. And have several options. You can buy it for the day, you can buy it for a week, you can buy it for the whole meet. It's a real value for the whole meet. All 90 days we give you for less than $5 a day. So, I think we've already had a few winners on there that have paid for it. A few people have told me. So I think it's a worthwhile product. And again, it's more information, any good extra information the horse player can get that most of the other horse players don't have is always an advantage.
Yeah, so it does great. I watch it all, summer long, especially at, Saratoga and Gulfstream Park in the summertime. It helps out a lot. Gulfstream in the wintertime, I should say. So that's how we see the card. Mike, once again, thanks for taking time out, a busy day today. We're drawing for both Saturday and Sunday today.
Yeah, it's a busy day all over, and looking forward to those Saturday and Sunday cards. 3 graded stakes on Saturday, and we're just getting started. I mean, the meet's almost a month old, but the real meat of the meat really starts after New Year's, and I'm sure after today everybody will be glad Gabby will be back on Saturday.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.